Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome back to a new video from Digital Pages Global. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through a very important topic called how to identify opportunities for process transformation and automation. And I have divided today's video into four different segments. The first one is process mapping, second is brainstorming, building a pipeline, and the fourth one is prioritization. Some of you are already certified black belt or a green belt or any other methodology within the process transformation. However, theoretical knowledge alone will not help you succeed in your current job. You have to become a practitioner. And how do you become a practitioner? You need to know the right tools and when to use and how to use. So let's start from the first one. So we have the process mapping. I'm not going to teach you how to do a process mapping, but I will definitely show you one of the process map that I have designed for one of my clients, and I'll show you how do I identify opportunities from just creating a process map. Second, we will talk about brainstorming. There are a couple of tools that you can use for brainstorming. You can directly brainstorm from the process map itself, but I will also teach you or just show you one of those free tools available on internet, which you can download for free and start using, which is called Mural. The third one is building a pipeline of opportunities, and I'm going to share a free template for you to use here. Okay, and third one is a prioritization. Again, I'm going to share a free template after this video for you to start using. Excellent. So before I get into the details of this video, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing, because a lot of these videos that I'm going to do in the future is going to be very useful to you guys. So I request you to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification button so that you get notified whenever I do a new video. So let's start from the first one, process mapping. So let me show you one of the tools that I use for process mapping. So this tool is called Lucy Chart, and Lucy Chart is absolutely free for you to use, but there are some limitations in which how many process maps that you can create at a time and how many can be shared with your team at a time. Let me now show you a very simple process map that we recently designed for one of our clients. And this was built for a procurement organization where the procurement organizations would receive multiple requests for changing prices of the raw materials which they procure from those suppliers. So what they do is these suppliers, so this is a swim lane process flow chart where these suppliers would send the pricing update request to the procurement team, and the procurement team would receive these requests through an email, and they do a little bit of validation to make sure all these necessary details such as material number, new price, supplier name, vendor code, for example, all that is mentioned in the request they sent. If all these information is available, they will straight away go ahead and do the price changes on the SAP system if no further approval is required. If not, they reject back this request to the supplier for getting additional information. Now, what happens next? So, if all information is available, all they do is they go to the SAP system with the given vendor code, material number, and uh, any location code or plan code according to the information that is given in the request. They go and identify a specific outline agreement which is created in SAP. They look for that particular material and they identify what is the current price, and they make changes to the current price with the updated price. And after the price is updated, they go to the SAP and upload these documents to SAP and submit the request for approval to the next level, right? So there is a list of rule based transaction that happens within SAP. Next, what we do in this case is we do a brainstorming. Okay, so as a process improvement professional, first we do the process mapping. We talk to the procurement team and identify what are the different steps involved. So we do the process mapping. The next step is brainstorming. There are a couple of ways in which you can do the brainstorming. You can showcase this particular process map in a meeting, in a brainstorming session where you invite the necessary subject matter experts and start asking by showing each of these steps, can we drive any sort of improvement? Because this requires lots of manual activity, especially during the year end process, right? There are multiple requests that comes from various different suppliers, and it becomes too hectic for the people who are managing the price update to go and perform these activities manually, right? So we need to improve this entire process. So for example, in the first one, if you look at there is an input that is coming in from the supplier in the form of a pricing request, right? That comes through an email. It could be a PDF file or a Word document. It could be an Excel document that comes in. So we will see, is there a way we can standardize that input, right? And how do we do that? We can either create a standardized template for suppliers to fill in, or there could be a form that we can create for suppliers to fill in. Okay, so that's the potential solutions. It's not a confirmed solution yet. It's a potential solution. And then we look at, there is a step where there is a validation that happens, right? With all the necessary information, create an auto validation process. Okay, because you need to actually validate between supplier name, supplier code, material number, old price versus new price, and so on, right? So we can think about creating an auto validation process here. And then once it is all validated, it moves into the next step, which is entering all these details. First of all, identifying the right material and the outline agreement within SAP, and start making those changes to the price. Now, these are all rule based. You don't really apply too much of intelligence to this. All we do is we go to SAP, start clicking on certain buttons, which is completely rule based, then becomes a great opportunity for us to implement RPA. What is RPA? RPA is a robotic process automation software. So robotic process automation softwares can actually automate any process which is all rule based, where we can actually tell this software to perform certain actions. For example, go into SAP, click on this particular button, download this document, update this particular field, do this validation, compare this pricing. Okay, so this is one way of identifying solutions through brainstorming within a process map. Let me show you another tool which we use. So this tool is called Mural. You can see the name here. This is called Mural. It's a free tool, which doesn't mean that you can create unlimited number of sessions using this, but there are some limitations. But it's free tool for us to use, at least for some of the ideas, right? So there are different templates which are inbuilt here. For example, brainstorming and idea prioritization, there is a template. If you want to do any sort of retrospective in your agile projects, you can use this template. There is a mind mapping template. There's a roadmap templates, and so on. Okay, so here I'm interested in brainstorming an idea prioritization template. Let me just try and preview this. In order for us to start using this particular template, there are list of steps that's given here. You need about 10 minutes for preparing for this brainstorming session, and we will do a 1 hour collaboration session, and recommended group of people in this brainstorming is about 2 to 8 people. I mean, you can change it according to the kind of projects and complexity of projects that you manage, right? And next thing, what you do before you even collaborate and start doing the brainstorming, you do the team gathering activity. You set a specific goal for this team to achieve by end of the session. And then next thing that you do, you define your problem statement. You tell them what is that you're trying to solve. Okay, and then we open this session for brainstorming. So each of the team members contributing this brainstorming session, you can actually share this particular page, and they can use this tool simultaneously, right? Um, each of them can come and pick up a sticky note from here, put in their ideas, and yeah, drag it and keep it under each of their names. You can basically divide these into different categories, and you can start discussing these ideas as a group. Next thing, what you do the prioritization. So how do you do the prioritization? Based on the impact or ease of implementation, you can further divide these ideas into various buckets, and then from here you can move towards converting a strategic blueprint on how do we implement these solutions. You can create a customer experience journey mapping and so on. I'm not going to get into this in much more detail, but it's quite very friendly tool, especially when all these remote work started. This kind of tools became very essential for professionals like us, right? So there's another template that you can use to gather these ideas. So this is a very simple Excel template where you can list the kind of ideas that's coming in. For example, you can first create the list of issues that you're trying to uh, you know address. So let's start with the input request for price update comes in multiple formats. Okay, and you write about a description about this particular issue. Okay, so you create a description about the problem that you are listing here, and then from your brainstorming session that you did, you think about a potential solution. So we can say, we want to build a standardized form using Google Form. I don't know. You can think about various tools that is used within your organization. Okay, and where does this come? What kind of lever? So I have classified the different levers. For example, standardization is one of the levers where this fall under. It could be a simplification or data driven, quick fixes, RPA, generative AI, workflow. You can think about various different levers which this would fit into. So I think this fits best into a simplification kind of a lever. And who raised this? So let's say I've come up with this particular idea. When was this raised? This was raised on 10/02/2024. And the current status. So I have created some categories for the status as well. So this is a completely new idea. Similarly, you can start listing down all those different ideas, and start selecting these different levers. For example, some of them could be data driven, which can become a Six Sigma project. If one of these ideas is generative AI, for example, reading any sort of documents, analyzing a list of documents or data, you can classify them under generative AI. All right. So this is how you start building a pipeline of ideas, right? So once you have a list of these pipeline of ideas, what do you do next? You start doing the prioritization. So let me show you another template that you can use for prioritization. So you bring in all those different ideas here. So you can call this an idea. And what is the description of that idea? And then you conduct another brainstorming session or a quick meeting with your key SMEs or subject matter experts, and talk about these different ideas and ask them to come up with ranking. For example, if I implement a standardized form for inputs of price update, for example, right, what kind of impact this would create on a scale of 1 to 5. So let's say this has a high impact for improving the process, so I select 5. What is the ease of implementation? Whether this particular form can be easily implemented, or is there any sort of investment required, right? So based on various discussions with your subject matter experts, you decide, okay, we can give an ease of implementation score of 5. And what is the effectiveness if I do this implementation, right? How effective this solution, how much of acceptance would this have from the supplier side? Supplier might not be interested in filling a standardized form, right? So the effectiveness could be slightly lower, so I select 2, and you get a benefit score. Similarly, for all the ideas that you've come up with, put this into this sort of a prioritization metrics, and whichever has the highest benefit. For example, the idea number 2, which has the highest benefit, you give the highest prioritization. For those of you who are looking for certification, I have two programs in process improvement. The first one is a digital green belt certification. The second one is a digital black belt certification. And both these programs are practitioner programs. And if you want to get enrolled for this program, please write to me in digitalpages.in@gmail.com. This course provides you a certification from a US based university along with a practitioner certification from my end, and all the different tools that you would be possibly using in your process transformation journey. I hope you guys liked my video. If you liked it, please don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification button. All the best.